You simply want to know whether or not you should delay taking your Social Security benefit. But it's just not that easy because I'm sure you found out there's a lot of information out there. And some of it seems like it's contradictory. A lot of it is incomplete. Some of it is just overly generalized. And when you receive this overly generalized advice, it may make it seem like it is a simple decision. You should always do this or you should always do that. I'm here to tell you, don't fall into that trap. You do not want to rush this decision because you could run the risk of missing out on tens of thousands of dollars in missed benefits. And if you live into your 80s or maybe even 90s, that could mean hundreds of thousands of dollars in missed benefits for you and your family over your lifetime. So, I want to share with you 7 reasons of why you may want to consider delaying taking your Social Security benefits. Hello, my name is Jason Byants. I'm a former analyst and certified financial planner, and I want to share insights that can be helpful in making this complex world of retirement planning a little more simple and sensical. A couple years back, we had a husband and wife come in. We'll call them Robert and Patty. And they came in and they were very confused because Robert's brother was very adamant in saying to him, you should absolutely take it at 62. And then they had some friends at church that kept telling them, no, 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 you've got to wait until age 70 to take your Social Security benefit. So we sat down with them, started asking a lot of questions about their financial life. We ran some scenarios and then we tested some different strategies. And what we found out through those calculations by doing the math, doing the homework, we found out that it made the most sense for Patty to defer taking her Social Security benefit and for Robert to take his. And this is a good example that there is no one size fits all strategy, okay? Every decision should be unique to you so you can find the optimal time to take Social Security benefits that benefit you and your family. So, speaking of family, let's go ahead and jump right in. So, reason number one is family history. So, if you have longevity in your family, that may be a good reason of why you want to defer taking your Social Security benefits. Because remember, the longer you wait, the more you get. And if you think you may live long because of longevity, it may make sense to wait for that larger amount. Number two is US life expectancy data. And this is an important one. If you were to go onto the CDC's website and look at U.S. expected life expectancy, and let's just say you're a male, it, as of the recording today, would say your life expectancy is 74.8. Now, if you go to the Social Security Administration's website, it would say, and you put in your birth date, it would say your life expectancy is 83.7. So who's correct? Well, here's the thing. When you're looking at life expectancy from the CDC, they're looking at data from when you were born, okay? So we don't really want to be looking at that. We would rather be looking at the Social Security website. And why is that? That's because if you've already made it to age 62, then that means you have a longer life expectancy. You're expected to live longer than 74.8 years. You're expected, as a male, to live, in this example, up to 83.7 years. That's a 9-year difference. And that is huge when we're talking about retirement planning and how long you're going to live. So we want to look at US life expectancy data, but we want to be looking at the right resource. Now, when we talk about life expectancy, I want to go over something called a break-even analysis. And you may have heard of this, and it's often talked about in retirement planning and whenever we're trying to decide when to take our Social Security benefit. Now, the break-even analysis will compare taking your benefit at different ages. So for this example, let's just say we want to look at taking it at age 62 and then age 70, all right? So what it does is it puts on a graph what your total benefits may be over time. So month after month, year after year, if you start taking your Social Security benefit at age 62, it may look something like that. All right. And as we know, if we take our Social Security benefit early, we get a reduced amount. If you wait until age 70, it's more money. You had to wait a couple of years, but it's more money, and those benefits will grow at a faster pace. And then this part right here, okay, this area where the two lines meet, that is called the break even. And it's an age. This can be age 79, age 80, 81, 82, 83. And the old school way of thinking was do the break even analysis. And if you think you'll live past the break even age, then you should probably think about taking your Social Security benefit a little bit later. Now, it's too simplistic of an approach, and we know this because the Social Security Administration used to have the break even analysis right there on their website, but they took it down because they felt like it was detrimental to retirees to only look at that and make their decision solely based on this calculation. However, when we're looking at our family history and our longevity, and when we're looking at US life expectancy data, we do want to take into consideration the break even analysis. We just don't want it to be the only thing that we take into consideration. Okay, so reason number 3 is spousal benefit. Okay, so let's take an example. Let's just say you were a homemaker. So you were a homemaker raising the kids and keeping the house in order, and your spouse was the worker earning all those credits. Let's just say because of that, you didn't have a lot of earning history. Your Social Security benefit is $800, and your spouse's Social Security benefit is $2,000. Well, the Social Security Administration offers something called a spousal benefit, which says, and it's really for these situations when someone was staying at home and not earning a lot, I should say, uh, you can actually take half of your spouse's benefit if your benefit is less than half of that. So yours is 800, theirs is 2000. Well, you can actually take 50% of theirs, which is 1000, okay? But there's two caveats. Number one is for you to get that full 50%, for you to get in this example that full $1000 a month, you would need to wait until your full retirement age. Now, if you don't know when your full retirement age is, I would encourage you to go to the Social Security Administration's website. And it's an easy one. It's SSA.gov. Go to SSA.gov. You'll have to create a profile, and then you'll be able to figure out a lot of things. You'll be able to see your earnings history. You'll be able to see estimates of what your benefit could be, and you'll be able to see your full retirement age. A lot of people are around the age of 67, so we'll use that for this example. So, for you to get that full 50% of your spouse's benefit, you would need to wait until your full retirement age. Okay, you'd have to defer taking until then. There's one more caveat that we really want to understand when we're talking about spousal benefit. You would have to defer, right, until your full retirement age. And whenever you go to turn on your Social Security benefit to get that half of your spouse's, that $1000 in this example, your spouse has to be already taking their benefit, okay? Now, they don't have to wait necessarily until their full retirement age, but they just have to be taking it, all right? So, as you can see, there are a lot of things to consider just in this one decision of Social Security. And retirement has a lot of other decisions to make in terms of investing and taxes and healthcare and all those types of things. So, if you're looking for a really good resource, I encourage you to click the link below and we'll send you a free copy of my brother's book, Designed to Last. And when you're going into retirement planning, you want resources like this because you want to know what are the questions I should be asking. And at the end of the book, Justin does a great job. He makes a list of the right questions you and your family should be asking whenever you're making this very, very important decision. So I invite you to click that link below, and we'd love to send you that book. Okay, now on to reason number 4, employment. So some people may say, Jason, I'm really enjoying working. I'm kind of at the pinnacle of my career. I'm earning a lot of money. And that may be a good reason to defer taking your Social Security benefit for a couple of reasons. And the first one is if you delay taking your Social Security benefit and you keep earning, you are adding to the calculation of your Social Security benefit. Okay. So Social Security takes your highest 35 years. All right. So if you keep working, especially if those last years are high income years, you keep getting to add on these higher earning years and you drop off those lower earning years back a couple of decades ago. And that can have an effect. And when I mean an effect, that can increase your Social Security benefit, again, if you're in those higher earning years. Now, another thing to consider is if you have good employment and you're working, you may want to consider deferring taking your Social Security benefit because you don't want any of it to be reduced. What do I mean by that? So, if you were to take your Social Security benefit, let's just say at age 63, so you take it early, you take it before your full retirement age. Well, if you take it before your full retirement age, they limit how much money you can earn. And in 2025, that earnings limit, if you take it before your full retirement age, is $23,400. Okay. So if you earn more, if you start taking your Social Security benefit at age 63 and you're still working and you earn more than this dollar, for every $2 that you earn above this threshold, Social Security is going to withhold $1 of your benefits. Okay. So it is really a complicated and convoluted thing that, hey, oh man, I'm still working. I want to take my benefit and kind of pocket the money, but then Social Security starts to take some of that money back out of my pocket and take it back because I earned too much. Okay. Now, in the year that you turn your full retirement age, there's a little bit of higher limit and they claw back a little bit less, but it's still convoluted. So, most of the time, if you're still working, it makes sense to defer taking your Social Security benefit until you actually retire. Number five is if Social Security is going to be your main source of income. So, for example, let's just say that you don't have a pension waiting on you or an annuity that you can count on, some type of guaranteed income down the road, or maybe you don't have a portfolio or a nest egg saved up. Social Security is going to be your main source of income. That's a good reason to consider deferring taking your benefit because that's going to be your main source of sustenance for the rest of your life. All right. Number six is health insurance. I'm sure you've encountered this before, maybe yourself or maybe with a colleague, a friend, a family member, a neighbor, where they say, I can't retire because I can't afford health insurance. For myself, it's $1,000 a month. For myself and my spouse, it'd be $2,000 a month. And so that may be a reason to defer not only taking your Social Security, but it may also be a reason that you may want to defer retiring. Okay. So this is again one of those retirement decisions that one definitely is connected with Social Security, but then in general, it's just overall planning, right? It's inside of this overall retirement plan. And a lot of people will say, you know what? I'm going to keep working. I'm going to defer taking my Social Security benefit until I reach age 65, because at age 65, then you can apply to have Medicare and you can get your health insurance through Medicare. And then the seventh reason is tax planning. So, in terms of your overall plan, we want to look at all of your sources of income. So maybe you have a pension, an annuity, rental property. Maybe you have some, part-time income. Maybe, you have your Social Security benefit, whatever it may be. And we're also talking about a lot of other things in terms of our different assets, the different tax buckets that we have. Is it tax deferred money? Is it taxable money? Is it tax free money? And that's all included in tax planning. And sometimes there can be a very, very good case for deferring taking your Social Security benefit because of the tax implications, because we want to keep as much money in your pocket as possible. Now, today we went over 7 reasons, and it's not an all encompassing list, but 7 reasons of why you may want to consider deferring taking your Social Security. And I would encourage you to go to our YouTube channel, and we've got some other videos on a host of different topics, and especially tax planning, because that's a big one. Because reducing our taxes can really add a lot more to our pocket, which is more money that we can save, invest, enjoy, whatever it may be.